Hello everyone and welcome to the lecture on reading Excel files. In this lecture we'll see how we can read Excel files. We'll start by importing pandas, import NumPy, and from pandas import series and data frames. Before we continue any further, we'll need to install two libraries that we'll need for working with Excel files. Let me write down the library names. One is called XLRD and the other one is called OpenPyXL. OpenPyXL. So if you are using Windows, open up your command prompt, and if you are using Mac, open up your terminal and use the conda install command to install the two libraries. So conda install XLRD, and then we also need to install OpenPyXL library using the command conda install OpenPyXL. And once you finish your installation, restart your Jupyter notebook and follow along with the lecture. The method that we'll use to read Excel files is called the read_Excel method, and we can use this method to read contents of an Excel file. Okay, and we have the pandas documentation on reading and working with Excel files here. You can look at more examples, and if you want to read more about it, the documentation is here. They have documentation and various examples on how you can read and work with Excel files. Okay, let's see some examples. Pandas has this method known as read Excel. So we can say pd.read_Excel and then provide the path of an Excel file. So I have a couple of Excel files in my Jupyter Homebooks location. I saved it there. So you can do the same thing. You can create an Excel file, add some columns and rows, and save it where your Jupyter notebook is located, the homepage directory. So I saved it there, and the file name is known as example1. So I will pass that file name example1.xlsx. Okay, in your case you can save it in any name that you like. You can give it any name, but the most important thing is that when you use the read Excel method, you just pass the path of your Excel file here. So since it's in Jupyter notebook, since I am in the same directory, I'm only passing the file name. Otherwise you'll have to provide whatever the path is. Okay, and this method also accepts another attribute known as sheet name, and we can also pass that attribute. So the attribute is called sheet name, and then let's pass, since I have my contents on the first sheet, I will pass sheet 1. So the read Excel method takes a path to an Excel file, which is this, and then this sheet name attributes indicates which of the sheets that we need to parse. In my case, I have all my documents or data in sheet 1, so I'm passing sheet 1 for the sheet name attribute. Okay, and this is used for parsing, and then we can save this in some variable. I'll just call it XL. Now if I call my Excel and run it, so I have a data frame, right, with 4 or 5 columns, A, B, C, D, programming, and then 3 rows. Okay, if I open my Excel file also, I have this data on the first sheet, which is sheet 1. So if you have multiple sheets, you can pass those different sheet names here. Or another way you can work with multiple sheets is by using the Excel file class. So this Excel file class is used to wrap your Excel file, and then later you can call the read Excel method to parse whatever sheet you want to read. Let's see an example. Okay, so pd dot, the class name is called Excel file, and then you pass it the Excel files location. So I created another Excel file and I named it Excel_example.xlsx, and let's save this in a variable called .x. You can save it anywhere you like. And what we'll do next is use pandas read underscore Excel method, and then we'll pass this object, which is the wrapped Excel file, and then we can pass whatever sheet you want to read. Let's say sheet 1. Then let me save this in a variable called XL. Now if I call my Excel object, I get this data frame. Okay, and similarly, if I can pass sheet 2, command C, command V. So my Excel file has two sheets, sheet 1 and sheet 2, and I can use the read Excel method and then pass sheet 2. Now if I call my X2 object, I see contents of my second sheet, which is this. Okay, I save this variables or data in sheet 2. Okay, so that's how you can work with multiple sheets. You can use the Excel file class to wrap your Excel file, and then finally use the read Excel method to read contents of whichever sheet you want to read. Let me show you one other method to work with multiple sheets. So this is the method that we'll use with, and then we'll use the Excel file method, and then we'll use this as, and then pass a certain variable name, and then use pd.excel file to read that file. Let me give you an example of that. So we can say with pd. We'll pass the Excel file class, and then pass your Excel file pass. So Excel underscore example dot XLSX. Since I saved it in the same path as my Jupyter Homebook, I just pass name of my Excel file. Otherwise, you'll have to pass the path. Okay. So with pd.excel file as whatever name you want to give it, let me just name it XLSX, and then we can call the read Excel method. So pd.read underscore Excel, and then you pass this variable that you used, XLSX, and then whatever sheet you want to read. Let's say sheet 1. So what I'll do is save this in a variable called sheet1 is equal to pd, and then if I want to read some other sheet, I can use the same method. Since I have a second sheet, I'll save it in a variable called sheet2 and say pd.read underscore Excel. You pass the variable name that we used, XLSX, and then sheet 2. So with pd.excel file, you pass the path of your Excel file, and then as XLSX. So we use this to open files, and then once we open it, use the read underscore Excel method to read contents of sheet 1 and sheet 2 in this example. Once we have this, we can simply call sheet 1, and that will give us a data frame containing all the data in our first sheet. Similarly, we can call sheet 2, run it, and then we have contents of our second sheet. Okay, so those are the various methods to work with Excel files with multiple sheets. Okay, so just to recap, the read underscore Excel method, it takes the path that you provide for your Excel file, and then if you use the sheet name attribute, that will parse whichever sheet name that you pass. Okay, and the other method we saw is to work with multiple files is by passing the Excel file class, we can wrap our Excel file and then use the read Excel method to read contents of the sheet provided. And finally, we looked at the with method to read contents of our Excel file. Great. And for more examples, you can look at the documentation on working with Excel files. They have lots of examples here, how you can work with a single sheet or multiple sheets. You can read more about it there. Great. Thank you everyone, and I'll see you at the next lecture.